Oba Femi is set to face Brock Lesnar. Nia Jax should face consequences for injuring Jade Cargill. Backstage reaction to Javvon Evans' performance on SmackDown. AJ Lee accused of not being a big draw in WWE long-term. WWE is done pushing Roxanne Perez. AJ Styles is tired of fighting the system in WWE. Bret Hart addresses rolling his eyes at Triple H. John Cena accused of lying. Fans launch a petition urging WWE to bring back Alberto Del Rio. Solo Sikoa's SmackDown promos are a waste of time. Let's dive right in. Nia Jax should face consequences for injuring Jade Cargill. Nia Jax's rough play on the latest WWE SmackDown left Jade Cargill with a nasty cut. The irresistible force slammed the Storm's head into the steel steps outside the ring. Soon after, Jade posted a graphic photo of the mishap, and fans began calling for tough punishment against the ex-women's champion. Right now, no word has come out on Nia Jax facing any fallout for her spot, but in this piece, we'll look at 3 ways Jax could pay for hurting the former AEW standout on the blue brand. One big hit Nia Jax could take for her spot is getting buried on television in the weeks ahead. That means weak bookings on WWE SmackDown and fast losses in her fights. With this kind of rough treatment, the Triple H creative team could punish Jax for what she did. In the last few months, fans have watched Nia mix into title chases, but after this mess, she might get pulled from the championship hunt for a good long while. Fans are already venting their anger over Nia Jax's moves on social media sites. Plenty are even pushing for her release from the Stamford-based promotion, since this isn't her first time hurting someone with a sloppy move. In the past, Becky Lynch caught the same bad luck. With the strong backlash against the irresistible force, WWE might decide to write her off television right away. Down the line, the King of Kings could bring the former women's champion back to the blue brand once the crowd's anger cools. This could play out when Nick Aldis, on the next episode of WWE SmackDown, hands Nia a suspension for her spot as part of the story. Nia Jax hurting Jade Cargill with the sloppy move could also drop her in the ranks inside the sports entertainment giant, as the game might send her back to the NXT brand. Shifting Jax to the black and silver brand would let her train and polish her work. Not only was Jax's injury spot against Jade Cargill a mess, but her failed try to kick out of Tiffany Stratton's pin also sparked a huge botch on the blue brand. All this proves the 41-year-old star needs time to hone her wrestling moves and skills, and heading back to NXT could be the smart call. Backstage reaction to Javvon Evans' performance on SmackDown. On the September 26th episode of WWE SmackDown, NXT's Javvon Evans delivered a jaw-dropping performance against Sami Zayn, and the backstage buzz is out. Fightful Select reported that the young NXT star got a warm welcome when he stepped backstage after his United States title clash with Zayn. Javvon Evans got a warm reception upon returning backstage. The match was a wild ride, packed with lightning-fast moves and high-flying action that lit up the Orlando crowd. Fans were so hyped they broke into "This is awesome" chants when Sami Zayn nailed Evans with an exploder suplex. Zayn went for his hell of a kick, but Evans shut it down. Evans whiffed a dive, but slickly dodged another hell of a kick, firing back with an OG cutter for a heart-stopping near fall that almost sealed it. The arena was electric until Zayn finally landed a hell of a kick and a blue thunder bomb to keep his title. Javvon Evans didn't walk away with the gold, but he earned major respect from the fans and Sami Zayn himself. It's clear he's got a big future on the main roster when the call comes, and it feels like it's only a matter of time. What do you think? Can Javvon Evans handle the main WWE stage already? AJ Lee accused of not being a big draw in WWE long-term. AJ Lee's return at WrestlePalooza sparked a wave of nostalgia, thrilling longtime WWE fans who hadn't seen her in action in nearly a decade. The hype was real, but can she keep the spark alive? Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer isn't so sure. On Wrestling Observer Radio with Garrett Gonzalez, Meltzer said AJ Lee's comeback popped big at first, but doubts she's got the juice to stay a top draw long-term. AJ Lee's business was going to be front-loaded. It was going to be really big for the first one. I never thought it would sustain. Meltzer pointed out that the women's division has transformed since AJ's heyday, and her old school style might not cut it now. She may be a popular woman wrestler based on different things, but it's going to be tough. She's older. The entire division has evolved incredibly in 10 years. He got blunt about her future star power. She could stand out a decade ago, but with how evolved the division is now, it's tough. Becky helped carry her, but long-term, I don't see her being a big draw. Even with Becky Lynch propping her up in the ring, Meltzer felt the gap between AJ and today's elite was obvious. Becky Lynch really helped her through that a lot, and I thought almost enough. But there were certain points where it was just kind of like, she's got Becky Lynch there, but long-term, he warned that returning stars often misjudge how much the game has changed. Very often, when you leave something and come back and go back to doing what you did before, you don't realize that the business is different. Meltzer shared a story about his brother, who took a long break from wrestling and was floored by the progress when he returned. "My brother watched nothing for years. Then he came back and was just like, "Oh my god, this wrestling is like 1,000 times better than when we were kids." Garrett Gonzalez backed him up, saying he wasn't impressed by AJ's match. "I did not like that match personally, because I thought her style of wrestling just did not fit in with today's style of wrestling." Meltzer gave a nod to the chance AJ could adapt if she dives in head first, but he sounded skeptical. She may just go in there and have this mental attitude of like, "I'm catching up and now I realize it," and be a giant success. But as far as in the ring goes, yeah, I was worried about that aspect. AJ Lee's return got the crowd roaring, but Meltzer thinks it might be her only big moment, unless she switches things up fast. The business has moved on, and without evolving, she could slip from the spotlight she used to own. Do you think AJ Lee still has what it takes to shine in WWE's women's division long-term? For her first match in 10 years, the former Divas champion delivered a killer show and clinched the win for her team by locking Becky Lynch and the Black Widow for the tap-out. AJ recently hit Instagram to share that her OG Love Bites gear was back on WWE Shop by fan demand. "You asked, you got it. OG Love Bites shirts and hoodies now on WWE Shop," wrote Lee. According to WrestleSeek's official X handle, AJ's retro merch moved over 800 pieces on WWE's site in under 24 hours. She's been racking up huge sales for WWE Shop since her comeback, and she's done it again in just hours. During the WrestlePalooza post-show, AJ Lee called her in-ring return surreal. The former Divas champion said her body took a beating, but she still loved it. The match? It felt amazing. It was really surreal. "It's been a minute. Everything hurts way more than I remember. But that was a lot of fun," she said. WWE is done pushing Roxanne Perez. The Judgment Day has ruled as one of WWE's toughest groups for years now. They've grabbed attention with their strong work, but the company seems to have dropped the ball on keeping their story fresh. Instead, they're all about Dominic Mysterio and his Intercontinental Championship chase. In the crew, Roxanne Perez stands out as the one who's lost all her steam. After a bright main roster debut, the ex-NXT Women's Champion's recent days have been packed with slim chances and results that keep knocking her down. This has left fans thinking WWE has zero plans for her anymore. Here are a few clear signs pointing that way. One huge clue that WWE has backed off Roxanne Perez is her run of defeats on the red brand. The Judgment Day comes off as a powerhouse group, but Perez tops the list of stars with the most losses this year. While WWE could flip things for her with a wave of wins down the road, right now it looks plain that they're not eyeing her as a top player on the roster. When Roxanne Perez joined the Judgment Day as the newest face, it felt like WWE was teeing up a juicy love triangle tale. With Liv Morgan sidelined by injury, Roxanne's entry hinted at a fresh plot pairing her with Dominic Mysterio. Fans guessed at an on-screen romance, but the company hasn't bitten. Dominic keeps landing big rivalries as Intercontinental Champion, while Perez hangs as one of the group's weakest links. This screams WWE has checked out on her. WWE gave Roxanne Perez a quick hit of main roster shine when she snagged the Women's Tag Team Championship with Raquel Rodriguez, but the run lasted only 33 days, and the pair dropped the belts in a spotlight fight against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. This fuels talk that the company has soured on Perez, making it even clearer she won't climb high in the women's division anytime soon. The clearest sign WWE is done with Roxanne Perez is her empty slate of big rivalries. While Finn Balor, Raquel Rodriguez, and Dominic Mysterio dive into hot stories, Perez drifts without a true feud. With Perez just playing sidekick to Rodriguez, Liv Morgan's comeback could bury her for good. Even if the company has ideas for the ex-NXT Women's Champion later, the setup now shows they're not rooting for her shine. AJ Styles is tired of fighting the system in WWE. AJ Styles has been making waves lately, but not for his in-ring work. His son's comment shined a light on the phenomenal one's growing frustration with his WWE bookings. Inside sources say it's likely that AJ is just cashing checks at this point. Styles hasn't had a meaty feud in ages, with other stars stealing the spotlight. Inside sources believe that guys like AJ eventually give in to the grind and lose their fire to push back, just rolling with whatever the creative team tosses their way. When asked on Writing with Russo if AJ Styles was phoning it in, the wrestling veteran laid it out. "Yeah, I mean, AJ is a very, very proud guy and a very hard worker. But you know, it just comes to the point. Like, you get to the point of you get tired of fighting the system. You just do there. There just comes a point where it's pointless. So it's okay, bro, whatever. I am just going to work and I'm going to do the best I can and I'm going to earn my paycheck." Inside sources added that now's the perfect time for AJ to get a big storyline push. On the same episode of Writing with Russo, they pitched a fiery idea. Cena is, "I am a movie star. This is going to be my last wrestling run." So I am talking about a guy like AJ that has been wrestling since his early 20s, and he knows he is looking at the end square in the eye, still thinks he has a little left in the tank. Might have slowed down, I mean, give me that. Give me Rocky going in to fight Ivan Drago, you know, where he was really doubting himself and his wife had to kick him in the nuts. Give me That's a Given story. That story is already there. What's next for AJ Styles in WWE is anyone's guess. Bret Hart addresses rolling his eyes at Triple H. At WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Triple H and Bret Hart shared the spotlight as WWE celebrated the 2025 Hall of Fame inductees, but things weren't as smooth as they seemed. While Triple H stood front and center as the night's big name, Bret Hart stole some chatter with a small move that caught everyone's eye. During the live show, cameras nabbed Triple H and Bret Hart shaking hands, only for Bret to seem to roll his eyes right after. It was a blink and miss it moment, but fans jumped on it fast. Bret didn't dodge it either. On stage with Kenny McIntosh of Inside the Ropes, he chuckled when the eye roll came up and owned it. "Did you guys notice that?" he said with a sly grin. When pushed on where he stands with Triple H now, Bret kept it vague, and that said plenty. He likened his longtime beef with the game to lugging around a heavy load he's tried to ditch. "I don't know the answer to that. I tried to move on. I always compare to carrying around a big bag of rocks. If you can just drop that big bag of rocks, it'd be a lot better for your mental and emotional state. At the same time, you have to follow your heart. I'm not sure where I stand with Triple H. Triple H may have headlined this year's Hall of Fame class, but Bret got his nod alongside Stone Cold Steve Austin for their iconic WrestleMania 13 submission match, a fight still hailed as one of wrestling's all-time best. For Bret, it was a career-defining clash. For fans, that WrestleMania 41 handshake now feels more like a show than a real makeup moment. Do you think Bret Hart's still holding a grudge, or was the eye roll just a playful jab? Share your take in the comments and tell us what you think. John Cena accused of lying. A WWE old-timer thinks John Cena is fibbing about always following orders on his match bookings. Inside sources say Cena really wanted Brock Lesnar to smash him at WrestlePalooza. At WWE WrestlePalooza, Brock Lesnar crushed Cena in a fight that wrapped up in under 10 minutes. Cena now lines up against AJ Styles at WWE Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. On the latest Busted Open, WWE Hall of Famer Inside Sources broke down John Cena's words about doing whatever the bosses say. Inside sources think Cena is pulling a fast one and made it plain they don't buy it. "I am very much convinced after what we talked about with Brock and John. Thinking about it a little more, watching John walk out, that John wanted to do that for Brock," he said. "John can say whatever he wants about, I don't make the matches, blah, 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 I just do what I'm told." Yeah, right. Sure. I believe that John on his way out wants to put people over. John is very old school in his thinking, and he knows that other people can benefit. It kicked off when Cena tossed out the idea of facing the Phenomenal One before hanging it up in one of his ex-posts. He then nudged WWE CCO Triple H to set it up, and Styles jumped in with a reply to Cena's post. The game locked it in with a post on his X handle. Folks can't wait to see Cena square off with one of his toughest old rivals one last time before he steps away from pro wrestling and WWE. Fans launch a petition urging WWE to bring back Alberto Del Rio. A fired-up fan just kicked off a Change.org petition pushing WWE to bring back ex-world champion Alberto Del Rio, and the online push is gaining speed. The plea says Del Rio, whose real name is Jose Alberto Rodriguez Chucuan, earned his spot back in WWE with his packed career and huge role in Mexican wrestling. The creator thinks his comeback would boost WWE's worldwide reach and tie stronger links to Latin American crowds. "I am a huge Lucha Libre fan, and without a doubt, Alberto Del Rio is a great athlete, a pillar and representative of Mexican wrestling. Alberto Del Rio, whose real name is Jose Alberto Rodriguez Chucuan, has triumphed both nationally and internationally, leaving an indelible mark on millions of sports entertainment fans around the world. They stress WWE stands to win big from pulling him back, especially in mixing up the roster and adding real ring cred. WWE, known for delivering quality wrestling shows, would greatly benefit from the return of Alberto Del Rio. His experience, talent, and charisma have made him one of the most complete and valuable wrestlers in the industry." The petition frames Del Rio's return as bigger than cash. It's about standing for something and building on what came before. At a time when WWE is looking to diversify and strengthen its talent, bringing back a wrestler of Alberto Del Rio's caliber would not only revitalize its programming but also serve as a powerful symbol of the quality and impact of Mexican wrestlers in the world of wrestling. To wrap it up, the fan called on others to jump in with a strong push. "We call on WWE to seriously consider Alberto Del Rio's return to its ranks. He will contribute significantly to sports entertainment, giving fans more reasons to be excited and celebrating Mexican talent on a global stage. Let's sign this petition and look forward to celebrating his return at the iconic Angel of Independence, Alberto Del Rio and WWE, Lucha Libre Mexicana." So far, the petition sits at 505 real signatures, and it's climbing. Del Rio's tied up in a Mexican reality TV gig right now, but that hasn't stopped fans from dreaming of one more WWE swing. And it's not just the fans. Talk says heavy hitters like Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, and Cody Rhodes have quietly backed Del Rio's comeback since he left AAA. So the real question hangs. Will WWE open the door for Del Rio again? Solo Sikoa's SmackDown promos are a waste of time. Inside sources recently ripped into Solo Sikoa's latest promo work. The Street Champion popped up in a video package on SmackDown, leading his MFT crew in another vignette. Last week, he hyped up Tonga Loa, and this time he put the spotlight on JC Mateo. Sikoa bragged that Mateo, an Olympic athlete, held titles across different promotions and said he trusted JC to keep everyone in check. On the latest Sportskeeda Brodown, hosted by Mac Davis, inside sources said WWE's likely to keep running these kinds of clips for every MFT member. They were fine with Solo Sikoa's promo, but warned these segments are heading nowhere fast. The veteran predicted the group would come back with a fresh vibe, only to flop in their first match, wiping out all their build-up. Here's what they're gonna do with that. This is buying them time now. This is gonna buy them 5 or 6 weeks. Every week, he's gonna highlight a different guy in the group. He did it last week, and he did it this week. Fine. But you and I know damn well what's gonna happen. We're gonna go through every guy in the group. Now we're gonna bring them back, and they're gonna lose on week 1. We've seen it a million times. If you're doing this and these guys come back with a new attitude and they're gonna dominate, that's fine. But they ain't gonna do that. So they're wasting 5 weeks of our time highlighting each person because as soon as they come back, they're gonna get beat, inside sources said. Solo Sikoa hasn't stepped in the ring on TV since dropping the United States Championship to Sami Zayn on the August 29th episode of SmackDown. Oba Femi is set to face Brock Lesnar, WWE NXT. No Mercy is done and dusted, and the crowd can't stop chatting about it. The premium live event packed in thrilling fights and raw energy that grabbed everyone's attention. But the 1 second that turned heads was Ricky Saints pinning Oba Femi to claim the new NXT championship. Oba Femi ruled strong as champ and drew tons of eyes. The rising star knocked down big names left and right during his run, earning a prime place on the roster. But Femi couldn't hold off Ricky Saints at WWE NXT No Mercy. Saints shocked the world with his upset win, one fans are still wrapping their heads around. The real jaw-dropper wasn't Saints taking the belt. It was Femi's huge defeat that left everyone reeling. Here are a few reasons Shawn Michaels made the bold call to strip Femi of the NXT title. Oba Femi has beaten almost every top name on NXT, and beating Saints would have shut down every major story Shawn Michaels could cook up for the NXT title. The WWE Hall of Famer could have dragged the Saints-Femi beef out for a couple more clashes, but it wouldn't have added up. Handing the gold to a fresh face lets Michaels spark off several new hot rivalries, which might be the main spark behind the wild title switch at NXT No Mercy. Ricky Saints has come off as a top dog in the company since day one, and fans have cheered hard for him to get a real push on NXT. After grabbing the WWE NXT North American Championship, he dove into some fierce fights. Saints gets pegged as a future WrestleMania headliner by plenty of legends, and this could be why Shawn Michaels aimed to lift his spot on the roster, crowning him the champ. Oba Femi's big loss at NXT No Mercy has to mean something. After months of building the star, the company won't just sink the Nigerian powerhouse with a defeat. Triple H might be lining up Femi for a shot at the main roster, which could be the key reason for his drop to Ricky Saints. A spot in the vision could be a golden chance for the company to grow Femi alongside huge names and amp up the plot even more. Only time will tell what WWE has cooking for the star. The other talk floating around is that Femi could head to SmackDown to face Brock Lesnar.